While everyone can imagine if a Gen Z build is still viable in the modern updates, I think a lot of people have a misconception or lack of knowledge on what the actual build is like. For an example, a little advantage we have over the other generation is our immunity against the curse of alcohol consumption, which previously was a huge problem that resulted in a bad ending. This partly happened not because we learned from the previous generation, but just because we had no friends to go out with. So, I wanted to look at some of the updates and live events that shape what the build is currently like and what it could be. Starting with one of the most debated live events that affected the entire world, being COVID 19, where a virus forced all the players to be locked inside without outside interaction. Basically, what I'm saying is nothing has changed from how I live currently. It was especially hard for us because most of us were still stuck in the tutorial stages, with common debuff happening such as lowering social skill point by at least 2 points and more chances to develop the curse of depression or anxiety. Though keep in mind, this is only true for some of the player base and not all, like myself. This is due to the fact that my social skill point was already at zero and no way to go down more. But one of the major benefits that did come with it was freedom. With schools going temporarily online, we could attend it by just waking up, joining a meeting, and going back to sleep. With so much freedom, it really allowed us to make huge progress into different skill trees, such as working out, pursuing our dreams, or just trying to get a 90-day streak on Duolingo. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering what Gen Z even means. After Googling this thought provoking question, I found out it was an acronym, with the Gen standing for generation and the Z standing for zero jobs. Because if you ask any of us on what our biggest struggle would be right now, besides obviously ordering Subway, then it would have to be finding a job. My friend once said that finding a job is like finding a romantic partner, in which I replied with, "Is it because you have none?" Putting aside my friend's eternal loneliness, I do think there's similarities between them. As an example, me finding a romantic partner has about the same chances as me finding a job, which is zero. But hypothetically, if I did manage to get an interview or a meeting, then I imagine I'd have to face one of my biggest fears, talking to someone in real life. After I practice in the shower and what I'm going to say during the interview, the first step would be logically fucking up on the introduction, in which case the meeting will keep moving forward with me lying about my ChatGPT ass resume, with it ending by the other person saying they'll reach out to me later. They won't. Now, if a stranger were to ask me on what our greatest perk is that defines us, then I'd have to say it's our ability to adapt to problems that plagued the other generations. The baby boomers struggled with lung cancer, mainly through the inhalation of cigarettes. So we clearly understood what the problem was. It tasted bad, so we switched to a strawberry flavored air. While the baby boomers struggled to breathe, the millennials struggled to pay rent. This is because of the massive student debt they have from the college their parents forced them to go to. So we clearly understood what the problem was, and we adapted by just not passing our classes. You can't have student debt if you're not a student. After looking at all of our strengths and weaknesses, we go back to the main question. Is this build still viable? In my opinion, there is a lot of things that could be better, but the resources we currently have makes me say yes. More opportunities now than there has ever been to be making a living with the digital world and to connect with other people. It's just a matter of using it. Now, if you're a Gen Z and still doubting yourself, then I have advice for you. Turn your frown upside down, and remember if life gives you lemon, make apple juice.